Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Gooner Gathering. We're here. I'm sure this is going to be an upbeat stream, and I think everyone's going to be in a really good mood about yesterday's result, especially the man to my right. But before we get into all that, everybody, do you know what? Let's do returns before we do anything else. I'd like to introduce Fran back to the channel. How are you, Fran?
Hello. Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. You guys will always be my favorites. You know, the first time I came onto YouTube was on Junior Gathering. So, yeah.
And you know what? I remember that so fondly, and it was one of my favorite things that we've ever done on this channel. So, would you like to introduce the doggo as well?
Yeah, I love her so much. I'm dog sitting Willow. She's Basset Hound Spaniel mix. She's watched a lot of football this weekend, and yeah, she's a Manchester United fan though. So,
well, you're not the only one with a pet here, so yeah, as you could tell. Anyway,
brilliant. But it's so nice to have you back. Have you had a good summer, and have you had a nice time off?
Yeah, just getting on with life, bits and bobs, and following the football. Oh, hey, Niall in the chat. And now we're back into the season, already a roller coaster of emotions by the sounds of it, by the looks of it. Hopefully this was a one-off result, but strap in.
It could get a lively stream, everybody. I've just got a feeling it might be. So let's introduce Spencer in. How are you, Spencer? You well?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. You know, I watched the game yesterday and had about 24 hours plus to, I guess, soak it in. Other than that, I'm doing good. I got my dog behind me. You can't really see her, but she's a big old German Shepherd.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, she's pretty good. But now I'm doing well. Just glad to be here and ready to discuss a little bit about yesterday.
Fantastic. I'm so pleased to have you all here as well. So let's bring in Posh Bertie. How are you, sir? You keeping well?
I'm doing great. This is how much time I'm dedicating to this great channel. I'm missing the biggest show in wrestling history for this, and it's quite apt because I'm about to go all in on a few certain Arsenal players today. But yeah, I'm doing great. Saw the family today. I've also got one of my cats with me here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm doing well.
Excellent.
And it's good to see Fran back, as I mentioned before.
Yeah, it's so nice to have a full panel in. So welcome in, everybody. Let's introduce a segment that we've not had for a little while, because I know Posh was at the game yesterday. It's Bertie's Absolute United highlight of the week to start off with.
Do you know what? When you were going to ask me about the Arsenal result, I would have gone, what do you mean? Why do you think I'm disappointed? We beat Solihull Moors 3-0.
Yeah.
Not Solihull Moors, Kidderminster Harriers. We lost.
Oh, get it right, mate. Come on.
Let's not talk about that. But yeah, I'll mention that. Do you remember when I told you this was during the Bournemouth game last season? I was at Ebbsfleet watching my local team, and the game didn't even kick off. It was about to kick off. I get a notification on BBC Sports saying Arsenal 0, Bournemouth 1. Well, they say lightning couldn't strike twice. The game wasn't even kicked off. The players were still trying to, get into formation and everything. Suddenly, goal, Arsenal 0, Fulham 1.
Yeah.
I can't say I was surprised by that, considering everything, but we'll get into that later on. But yeah,
we will.
I'm pleased that Ebbsfleet won. I like Ebbsfleet. They're a team that play their players in the right positions and don't take their feet off the gas when they're 3-0 up at half time. So yeah, they're a good
fantastic
team.
Okay. Would you like to go on to tell us results, scorers, etc. for yesterday before we move on?
Dominic Polion, who almost got the same amount of goals as Haaland last season, fun fact, got 2, and I can't remember who got the other one. Luke O'Neill. There we go. That's him. We got a bunch of good eggs in our squad.
Good. Thank you very much, Bertie. And I'm glad you had a nice time at the match.
Can you not scratch Hetty? Sorry about that.
Is Hetty in as well, is she?
She is, I showed you, and she is, whatever reason, scratching on my jeans, which is not very nice. Naughty Hetty. Yeah, it's all kicking off at the moment.
All right then, guys. Let's get into it, shall we? So let me just bring up that. So I'm doing sort of behind the scenes work at the same time here, and I'm hoping my PC's going to play. Look at this. We've got graphics as well, Fran. We're really moving up in the world, mate. I can tell you. So it's beautiful. It really is. So let's take it to Fran. When the lineup came out, what were you thinking? What were your thoughts? And is there anything that you possibly might have done better? Different.
Yeah, no. Initially, I was so happy. First of all, to see Trossard starting. I love that guy. Particular favorite of mine. Yes, been such a good player in preseason as well. So great to see him starting. But I'm sure you guys all noticed immediately. Partey appeared to be playing right back again, which did kind of concern me because it was such a close result last time. And I'm quite open to having, like, all of last season I was calling for plan Bs and being able to substitute players, the dog, being able to like bring in players and they've got minutes in their legs and stuff. But yeah, I was a bit worried to see, and you could kind of, it was just risky. It was kind of one game too many in that formation. I thought going into it. What about you guys?
Spencer, go ahead, mate. Go ahead.
Honestly, the Trossard one was the only one I think that was shocking to me. I think I mentioned to you guys last week. It's like I even though the Partey thing at right back, I do not like it. It hasn't really been epically failed. It hasn't failed yet. Now the question after yesterday becomes, it doesn't need to happen anymore. I kind of have to like piggyback on Lee Judges, who was on AFTV and discussing about traditional fullback roles. And I mean, Lee, you're probably of the same line of school I am. Fullbacks play defense and they play on the wings. That's what they do. They play on the outside pitch. They don't go all the way inverted to midfield. So that's, looking at the lineup, the stats have backed up Partey doing well at right back. But again, yesterday was the first hiccup where we saw it truly cost us, in my opinion. And the Trossard one, I think we've been screaming for Trossard to start. I actually probably would have benched Martinelli potentially and brought Trossard on and kept Nketiah up there, just because I think he hasn't really deserved to be dropped yet. But that was my vibes on that. I was kind of shocked.
He's had a really good start to the season, Nketiah. Long may it continue, like prove us wrong type thing,
I mean, Kivior was the one that shocked me because I remember Lee last week. You said that thought Zinchenko was going to come back in, and I think I told you I didn't think he was going to do a full 90 yet. And I think if Zinchenko's fitness levels had been up, and again, this goes back to me on this. I think if Zinchenko is healthy and Timber is healthy, we don't see Partey at right back. We see Timber at right back and Zenny at left. Personal,
yes, I probably agree with that.
So,
but unfortunately, that's not the cards we've been dealt. And as for the Nketiah one, I actually messaged Posh Bertie, and I wasn't even joking when I said to him, now me and Posh have this ongoing sort of ongoing gag on the channel, I suppose, about Eddie Nketiah. I wasn't even joking when I said to him that I was shocked that Nketiah was dropped. Bertie, what were your thoughts on the lineup when you saw it?
Oh boy. So I tweeted that we had a perfectly great system last season that most of the time worked. Yes, I know latter stages of last season it all collapsed and everything. I get that. But we won most of our games last season with a brilliant system. Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, when fully fit, obviously, all at the back, and it worked. Why? We've got all those defenders. I mean, Zinchenko, I know there's questions on whether he might be fully fit or not, but he looks fine. He looks all right. But Gabriel, why? Why on earth is he on the bench? Apparently, it's due to tactical reasons. I don't believe a word of that. I think he's getting ready to learn Arabic next week. That's
I,
my
there, was
opinion.
also, there was also rumors of it was like disciplinary as well, I think.
So
Which
Oh, I hadn't
Yeah.
heard that, Fran. Where did that come from? And what has he done wrong?
Twitter.
Yeah.
So
That must be true.
yeah,
then.
I saw it too.
very
I
okay.
must
It's not,
admit,
So
yeah.
I got a viewpoint on the tactics with this. I think with the inversion, because basically what we've done now is we've created this monster, which I don't like. So I'm going to preface this, where we're inverting both the left back and the right back. And I think tactically, I think Ben White's a faster player than Gabriel. I think Gabriel is a better defender than Ben White, but I think that's what they're thinking. Is he potentially going to move? Maybe. I don't think so. But again, I don't like any of this inversion we're doing right now, to be fair. But that's my thought process with it, as Ben White gives us a little bit more pace so we don't get chipped over the back.
Yeah.
But
How did that work in
again,
the first minute then?
I agree. I think Gabriel should be starting. I would love to see a back three of Gabriel, White, and Saliba. And then if you want to play inverted, you play inverted. Play three at the back, spread them out, have roles, and play defense and keep it moving. But I don't know. I'm at a loss with this one.
Well, I'll tell you why. Sorry for I keep interrupting. I tell you why. Another reason why we have to have Partey at right back and Gabriel having to be sacrificed to the bench is because we need to accumulate. We need to try and fit our £65 million wonder kid in the starting 11, even though he's a bench player at best. What is so Partey, Rice, and Odegaard? That is fantastic. That's a great midfield. But no, and if you want to play Havertz, I know Nketiah is actually doing quite all right so far this season. But if you're going to play Havertz, at least play him up front. He's tall, he can get some headers in the box, you know. But again, the reason why you got to have Partey at right back and everything like that is you got to try and fit Havertz into the team, which I do not agree on. And based on his performance today, well, I don't want to brag that I'm proven right or anything, because I don't want to be proven right. I want Havertz to do well, but I'm afraid it's not the case. And if he starts against Man United next week, I know I'm jumping the gun a lot in this video. We'll probably get to it in a minute. But if he starts against Man United this next week, then I'm not confident.
well, that's
Yes.
fair enough. Go ahead, go on.
Yeah, to me it feels like this system with Havertz in, it's like maybe it's like one of two that we can, like, maybe rather than just having like a solid like first team, first structure. Luca's in the chat as well. Hey Luca. This is like an alternative way
welcome.
this is like an alternative way that we can play, you know, apparently maybe when we're playing more defensive teams so that we can overload in the midfield and stuff. But then it seems like if you're preparing alternative ways to play throughout the season, shouldn't you have finalized that in pre-season? Whereas this isn't the way that we played in pre-season. So it kind of seems like practicing and, you know, preparing, but we're already in the season and these results matter. Like every point is crucial. So yeah, like work on it on the training ground and then play what you know is going to work just while this new system like gets solidified in training, perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. What I kind of thought I saw was more, as kind of mentioned a little bit. Welcome to CFCOG. It says big up. Can't underestimate Fulham. Take it from me. Yeah, always going to be a very difficult side, and it was last term. Me and Bertie, when we covered it back in the previous life, even said the same thing then. But be that as it may, so I'm trying to.
I actually, apart from Paulinho, who I think was the best player on the pitch yesterday, I thought they maybe have become a bit weaker. Case in point, Mitrovic is not there anymore.
Yeah, I think that's what most of us thought, because he's like definitely there. But maybe the fact that he was such a like talisman of that team took away like our sight of how good some of the other kind of midfielders
Look at
are.
Kane for Tottenham.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, Tottenham. Why do they have to be doing well while we're still tinkering?
We signed Kai Havertz for £65 million. Tottenham signed James Maddison for 30 million. Just putting it out there.
Don't ruin my week, please.
Although
Although
I wanted him, I'll get to this.
With the Havertz thing, though, I seriously think that the way he's playing is just a lack of confidence thing, and you can tell why he's had such a hard time at Chelsea. And I just don't think he believes in his game, and he's not like being assertive. He's like passing back quite a lot and just trying to play it safe. So I really feel for him, and I think it's up to the club to, if they need to bench him and maybe see a sports psychologist, things like that, just like get him believing in himself, get him bonding with the team, get him feeling good about his game. And I think Arteta's trying to do that by like playing him into confidence. But he still kind of seems to be in his shell a bit, doesn't he? So maybe Arteta needs to look at that and think about a different way to get the Leverkusen Havertz back.
I mentioned this before. I think that a lot of Arsenal fans are really overthinking when it comes to Kai Havertz and are trying so hard to convince themselves that he's actually a very good player and he's been very good for us, when actually he has been very average. Quite frankly, I keep seeing all these people.
He'd say that himself,
I keep seeing all these people on Twitter telling everyone, "Oh, look how many flick-offs he's won. Look how many layoffs he's won. Look at his off-the-ball stuff." These things do not really matter. And this tweet I saw saying, people won't get Havertz's performance. It was one for the purists. Again...
You're referring back to the Crystal Palace game, Posh?
Yeah.
And I get your point. I get your point, mate. And I'm not going to say for a moment that Havertz had the greatest game against Fulham, but I will also say there's this is only his third Premier League game for Arsenal, and he is adapting into a different team. So I'm going to give him a little bit of leeway.
Okay, but when he was taken off, we played better. Funnily enough,
but can we get into things a little bit chronologically? I think that would probably be very good for me. Spencer wants to add something, so go ahead.
So we've been on here for about 18 minutes, and we're talking about yesterday, and Havertz is the first thing we mentioned. It just seems weird to me. Saka's the one that kicked the ball back to the goalkeeper.
Thank you.
Why are we not slagging off Saka right now? I don't know what Havertz has done to hurt. I got you. I just don't know what Havertz has done to hurt this team. That's my point. I think it goes both ways. It's a polarizing player. You either like him or you don't, and that's the way it's probably going to be for the next 5 years.
Someone was saying this Saka back pass. It's like he passed it to where he's used to someone normally being, because he doesn't even look up, and it's like clockwork when they know exactly where each other is. But I think because the defense are a different formation, there isn't someone where he expects there's someone to be, and that moment just kind of shows the disconnectedness, and that we've shuffled around as you'd expect. People have to relearn who's going to be where. When you've got the ball, you don't, it was one of those moments. I don't think it's necessarily his fault. It's just the new system and working out where everyone is.
Yeah.
It was sloppy. He's very sloppy.
I'm looking at it right now on my TV screen.
Oh,
and basically Declan Rice makes the pass to Saka, and the player that's on Declan Rice, he's got two Fulham defenders on him. The Fulham defender pulls on to Saka, and Ben White is wide open right in front of him. He could drop it right back to Ben White.
And what was Ramsdale doing for the first goal as well?
I've got a take on this.
All over the place.
Go ahead, Fran.
So, as you guys know, I have quite a lot of goalkeeping experience. It's in hockey, but it's basically it's a positioning thing. And to me, it's bizarre. It looks like he's overthinking it, and he's tracking to the left to prepare in case the Fulham player crosses the ball. There's another Fulham player running into the penalty box. So Ramsdale's shifted a little bit to the left in case that guy passed it there. But the crucial mistake is that don't preempt it. You need to stay between the ball and the goal at all times. And he forgot that. He's preparing in case of that eventuality, but missed out on the obvious. This guy here might strike. So it's just a case of, overthinking and just a silly error from Ramsdale. And if the thing is, if he'd have crossed it, that guy running into the penalty box was covered by two of our defenders. I can't remember which ones. So there was no need for him to worry about that cross. He just had to worry about the guy with the ball who could shoot. And that's where he got caught out, because that guy did shoot it to his near post. And by this point, he's off balance. And I can see what he was doing, but it's just a mistake.
Yeah, a mistake all the way through. You're not even funny, Posh Bertie. I see what you.
I was going to put Havertz at left back, but we've already talked about him.
Right. So to address Arsenal since 1987, Tierney has gone. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit. I want to get through a match, and then we'll talk about what's going on, and we'll get to all them options in a bit. For me, it was a calamity of errors all around the pitch, from that short pass from Saka, which didn't have a chance of reaching the goalkeeper, whether he was trying to find a centre half that wasn't there. Perhaps that was the case, I'm not sure. But here's the thing. You can set up whatever formations you want to set up, and you can have an inverted full-back as much as you want. But if you don't look up to play your pass backs, you're going to run into trouble. And that's exactly what we did. And it was launched upon by Pereira for 57 seconds, quickest goal of the season so far. And you might argue, in a case of just moving it forward a little bit, you might argue we might have been a little bit lucky not to go 2-0 behind. I'm referring to Jimenez's overhead kick.
Can I just say, on the first goal, I've got an interesting, I'd say interesting, it's quite depressing really, a stat for you.
I know what you're going to say. I already know what you're going to say.
3 of our last 9 home games we've conceded in the first minute.
And that's exactly why they need to be so careful on their pass backs.
That's bad, isn't it? I think.
It's not right.
Do you think teams are coming and saying, like, okay, I mean, like, this is our main tactics, but like the first tactic we'll try is just see if we can catch them out in the first minute.
They kick off as well. They'll just attack from the off.
Yeah. Oh, it's not good. That is so silly. Like once, twice, a third time's unacceptable. It's not good enough.
I get what you're saying, and it's something we can't afford to do, particularly next Sunday against Man United. And we can't be putting up a silly looking defence where our most consistent centre half for the last 2 years can't be on the bench. Mind you, he might not even be at the club. Who knows?
No, exactly.
We'll see on transfer deadline day, which happens to be on Friday, which we'll talk amongst ourselves but when we've gone off air, and we'll let everybody else know what we are going to be doing during transfer deadline day. All right. But I mentioned Jimenez with an overhead kick. Did anybody else catch that? And anyone had any thoughts about that effort on goal before we move on? Raise your hands, anybody?
I don't.
I didn't know he had that kind of power. I mean,
to be fair, for Jimenez to get up and try and throw an overhead kick on the ground where he fractured his skull about 2 years ago, I thought was quite brave. And it wasn't that far away, to be honest. But following that, I would say there was only one real chance we had in the first half, certainly according to the match of the day highlights, which I caught early on this morning. Crossfield pass from Ben White over to Trossard, who I want to say, I know we've lost Bertie for a second. I don't know what happened to him. Never mind. Bertie can come in as soon as he's ready. Trossard had a bit of a bad time in his first start, in my opinion. Spoke to my brother earlier on, who's appeared on the channel before. Unfortunately, his touch turned into a little bit of an elephant, of what my brother described as. But he did manage to find Saka with a cross. Saka's header did go into the ground and up and over. Probably should have done a little bit better on that one. But guys, go ahead and tell me your thoughts on that. Don't all rush.
I've spoken a lot, so
I don't mind going.
Thank you, Fran.
I wasn't not on specifically. I don't remember actually that bit, but Trossard was. Oh, his touch. Yes, yeah, his touch was. It was really unlike him, that performance. Actually, he's normally so precise and concise, and he looked a little bit lost between whether he was part of the midfield or an out-and-out striker. He was kind of in no man's land, making sloppy touches. I don't know what was up with him, but it wasn't his usual sparkling form. Anyone else?
Bertie, I want you to talk about Trossard because you've been an advocate of him starting in the starting 11.
yeah.
Your thoughts on his performance yesterday in the first half, please?
First of all, I apologise for cutting out. I don't know what's going on with my
Technical
Wi-Fi.
issues happen, mate. Don't worry.
But I've just tethered, so I'm doing fine. So hopefully it'll be fine. I was obviously, as Fran said, I was pleased to see Trossard in the starting 11, even though some other tactical decisions may have overshadowed it. But it was good to see him up front as well. I know he did not. I mean, he was snatching at his chances, but it wasn't particularly all that, and it kind of says it all when he gets taken off for Nketiah, and Nketiah is the one who scores the goals. So I hold my hand up for there and say I may have got that wrong, but maybe it's just one of those moments. But no, I can't say he had a particularly electrifying first half, put it that way.
No, wasn't exactly eyebrow raising, I must admit.
Well,
But,
the performance raised an eyebrow for me, but it wasn't the good kind.
No, quite. I couldn't put it better myself. So we go into half time. Here's something I want to bring up before we talk about the second half stuff. And as you all will know, certainly myself and Bertie are massive wrestling fans, and it's been a very difficult week, in all fairness, in losing Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk. It was really classy of the Arsenal to put the Live in Fear theme music, sung by Mark Crozier. I was going to try and get it up on the stream. I couldn't do it. Unfortunately, technology's not exactly kind to me on this platform. But I thought it was quite a nice moment. Bertie, I think I'll get your comment on that, please.
I think it was a very, very touching moment. I know you tagged me in it on Twitter, but I already saw it. But thanks. No, I appreciate that. And yeah, I think that was an absolutely great moment. They did it as well when Scott Hall sadly passed away. I don't know what game it was. It might have been the Liverpool game in the Carabao Cup, but they played Razor Ramon's theme at halftime as well. So I'm pleased to see that one of the technicians at Arsenal are wrestling fans. It's not the first time they've played wrestling themes at halftime.
True.
So good on them.
True.
Yeah, and I thought it was a very, very touching tribute. So fair play to them. It
was. Certainly for me, as Bertie and I spoke to him, before we went on air on the pre-show. That previous night had been very difficult for me because I hadn't slept very much because I was too busy thinking about Bray Wyatt and everything like that. And it was a very, very tough moment. However, we will get back into the football right now. So the halftime switch happened, and it was Eddie Nketiah coming on at halftime for Trossard, who in fairness, never showed the form that he had done off the bench in his previous games. I mean, including the Community Shield in that as well. I don't know what Nketiah actually did wrong necessarily to get dropped, actually. Yeah, I know it's a squad game and everything, but personally, I don't think the guy, in the first 2 games scored 1 goal, got an assist, and the other one in terms of winning the penalty against Crystal Palace. I don't know what he did wrong to get put on the bench. But it's fair to say...
Oh, sorry. Maybe he didn't do anything wrong. It's
go ahead.
As you say, just rotation, which I love to see. Last season it was just the starting 11 or we crumble. So nice to see.
Yeah, I suppose that having the plan B option, I guess. Oh dear!
I was once part of that gang in 2022, 2021, all those years.
Yeah.
I then kind of packed my bags and left the pastures new. However, I'm feeling a bit homesick at the moment. Put it that way.
All right. I'm looking forward
It's not Arteta out, it's Arteta doubt for me, I think.
I'm looking forward to Ebbsfleet gathering, or whatever you want to call it.
Ebbsfleet Enlightenment.
Coming up soon to YouTube. So we made the change for Nketiah coming on. It also is worth pointing out, and this has to be brought up quite quickly as well, actually, because sometimes Arteta gets a bit of stick, particularly from my regular broadcast colleague, about not making his substitutions very early. So not only did he make the half-time switch, on 56 minutes he changed Partey off for Zinchenko, who personally I would have liked to start, but there you go. This is going to be an interesting topic because Vieira come on for Havertz. At the same time, it was a double switch, who actually completely changed the run of the game. I would say Vieira actually had a pretty decent pre-season anyway. And you've got to remember as well, the kid had only been with us for sort of 1 year. And I'm just getting confirmation of something that I was going to talk about later on. Right, okay. Thank you very much, Kaya. So, Vieira, I think a lot of us would have had on the out try going during the end of the season, talking about everything about him. I always felt that there was a bit of a player in him, but I felt I would have taken him on out on loan. Obviously showing that I know nothing because his pre-season form was excellent. Scored a very, very good penalty in the shootout against Manchester City and changed the game against Fulham. Won the penalty. So what happened? Martinelli played a inside pass to Vieira. It was taken out by Tete. Penalty given. Any arguments, penalty or not, on this one, guys?
No.
Penalty all day.
To me.
Penalty all day long. Mr. Arsenal podcast is in the building. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us, my friend. So good to have you here. So Arsenal trying to screw me in FPL points, obviously. We'll get into it. We'll get into it maybe at the end, yeah?
Yeah, of course.
I put Odegaard as my captain this week because I thought he was on pens. I know nothing, everybody.
Hey, at least you didn't have Virgil van Dijk in your team.
Oh, you had Virgil, did you?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Good effort, mate. Good effort. Right. So Saka took the penalty kick. I looked at the situation. I thought it's never in doubt. He's going to score. Good on the kid. He stepped up and he's put the ball away. And
made up for his mistake in the first half.
It's redemption, isn't it, Bosh? It's what we like talking about. Silence. Come on, guys.
Well,
no. I thought you were going to carry on with the.
It's all.
with what you were
I'd
saying.
say it's only redemption if we got all 3 points and we didn't. So
Yes,
True.
yeah.
I mean, that's the unfortunate thing I see with it. But he took a good penalty. He stepped up. Good confidence. I think there was a discussion that someone was talking about. Well, is Odegaard? I think maybe it's me, you, and Lee and Posh that were talking about, is Odegaard now going to be the penalty guy? And I think it's going to be situational based. I think they'll hand the ball to each other all through the season. I think you need to have multiple people that are comfortable taking penalties, because you're going to come to a situation where Saka's not on the pitch and someone else just got to step up and do it. Could be Jorginho, could be whoever, but if we can get multiple people comfortable taking penalties, the better off for us in the long run, for sure.
It's nice. I was going to say, yeah, it's nice when the person who's feeling confident can step forward and say, like, no, I'm up for taking this. They're much more likely to score it than someone who, is the only penalty taker, lots of pressure on them. So it's good to see. I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I know it's not exactly redemption. I do understand that point, but in terms of in hindsight and everything, but at that time, I think he kind of made up for the mistake he made in the first half by scoring a very good penalty. So good on Saka.
Yeah,
I always feel upset when I have to criticize him, but because he's a lovely man and I will defend him till the very end. But no, I'm pleased that he scored his penalty.
Yeah. As my good friend on the bottom right hand of the screen will definitely concur, I'm a massive Saka fan myself, and I had my little girl wearing Fran's beautiful hoodie at Chelmsford City. And I'm so pleased you've seen that picture now, Fran, and absolutely you can use that on your website. You put it in the back end. There we are. Thank you very much. Look at that. That's my Amy wearing Bukayo Saka's hoodie, made by our wonderful Fran, who is so good at what she does, doesn't get the credit she deserves. Please find her at golartso.com. It's all on my head. I know this real. Please give her support. She's brilliant, and I am so happy to have you back. I really am.
Yeah, there's much more coming in terms of the merch and art this season. So thank you for the plug. And yeah, I'm going to build it.
She's on YouTube as well. She's got her own YouTube channel. Make sure you please like, share, and subscribe over there. Thank you, Spencer, for doing that. That's the link for her channel. We love you, by the way, if you hadn't noticed.
Thank you. You can all come on my channel as well. I think, we're going to do lots of streams and stuff, so we'll cross-pollinate.
I'd love that. Right, so there's the self-promotion done.
Thank you.
So let's talk about another possible penalty incident that happened. Vieira, so it also played another great ball through to Saka. Possible penalty on this one.
So I didn't see this actually.
Which minute
match of the day, mate.
What minute was it?
I haven't got the minute written down. If you haven't seen it, we'll move on from it because
I got the game on in the background. Sorry, you're good.
It's cool. Don't worry. If you hadn't seen it, there was a sort of half a shout, maybe more from the crowd as opposed to from the players itself. But Baisley,
I remember it now.
Baisley, who's the defender that came in for Fulham, happened to be off injured at the time where Vieira got involved in the play again, hit the cross from the left side through to Nketiah in the penalty area where all good strikers should be, and Nketiah just blasted the ball in the back of the net to make it 2-1 to Arsenal, as all good strikers do. Go ahead, guys.
It's funny because whilst I was at Ebbsfleet, I was near someone who I went, 2-1 to Arsenal, get in. And so I had a little bit of a chat with him. He was a fellow Arsenal fan. And we did make a joke with each other saying, hey, we take off Havertz and we're winning. And he goes, yeah, I know, right? So, yeah. But yeah, I put that comment up there. Don't worry about that.
I didn't see.
But yeah, very good to see Nketiah get a goal. Yes, he was in the room in that game, and he was in the right place at the right time. Scored a very good goal. I saw it, and I feel like a bit of a fool now, don't I? In Nketiah with the goal, Vieira with the assist. I partly feel like a fool anyway, but I always give credit where it's due, even if it's for players that I might not necessarily rate. Yeah. I thought Vieira, when he came off the bench, he had a brilliant game. He was actually quite a game changer almost because we didn't win, obviously. But brilliant ball from him into Nketiah, who was at the right place at the right time. Quite a lovely goal, actually. Yeah, great set up for it, and 2-1.
So I'd like to add, my brother would have loved to join us on the stream, but today, by the way. But as you guys may or may not know, he lives in the Australian time zone, and it's the very early hours of this morning. But or tomorrow morning.
All competitions, Arsenal since 1987. It's got to be the top scorer in every single competition. And even if he does, I ain't doing it anyway. I think my parents might have something to do with that. But
yes, you are, because we'll do charity as well.
I told Ryan that I'd buy a Havertz jersey if we signed Declan Rice, and it's coming this week. So,
my God!
I did that. That cost me money. A hair shave don't cost it. I grow back.
Just to.
I started do eyebrows as well. That's my worry.
This is almost going into someone else's gimmick, Posh.
They grow back.
You know who I'm talking about, and you can't be doing that. so
why can't I do it? Why?
Hold on. Right. So, having spoken to my brother, and it was so cool to speak to him earlier on this morning, by the way, there is a massive talk about. So I've just got a message there from Ryan Fletcher. So Ryan, I'll get back to you, mate. I'll get back to you. So case for Vieira starting against Man United? ?
I think I would probably stick with not stick, but I would change it to Partey, Rice, and Odegaard, and bring Vieira from off the bench, maybe if things aren't necessarily going right, and he hopefully can be that kind of super sub like he was against Fulham, perhaps.
Fair enough. Would that suggest to you you're bringing Zinchenko in and Gabriel in?
I'm bringing Zinchenko in at left back, Gabriel in at centre back, White at right back, and Saliba. I'm going old school. I'm bringing it back, bringing the old days back.
Yeah.
Ryan's just sent me a video, by the way. Ryan Fletcher from Mr. Arsenal podcast, I believe, has just sent me a video of him celebrating Eddie Nketiah's goal. I'm looking forward to seeing that in a bit. I won't bring it because I haven't got the facility. My computer doesn't work properly, right? So I look forward to seeing that later on.
Could I give my lineup with the United with?
Can we do that right at the end?
No, you're good. You're good.
We'll do that right then. Now, who is that? Geordie Lee. That's a new name for me, guys. Welcome in. Hello, welcome to Gooner Gathering.
Welcome.
Family-friendly stream where we do all sorts of pre-match, post-match, live, watch-along, chat-alongs. I've got a fantastic interview with a lovely young lady to the bottom right on the channel with the Desert Island Kickabout. There's one for Bertie. There's one for Spencer as well. There's one for my brother. We've got all sorts going on the channel, and it's a really happy place to be. I just seen that, mate. I just seen it on Instagram on my notifications. I'll have a little look at that in a wee while. So Nketiah scores 2-1 to Arsenal. Thank you, Arsenal, since 1987. Likes and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thank you very much for doing that. So we've got to a situation. Should have mentioned a little bit ago, by the way. So I'm sort of out of chronological a little bit. Basically, the defender was down. which may have had a little bit of a confusion on terms of the second goal, whether it was offside or not. He was behind the goal getting treatment, so perhaps maybe not necessarily as sportsmanlike as you might have expected, but hey, it is what it is. He was off the field and it made Nketiah was onside. So, rules are rules, right? So, never mind.
Did we mention the we had the ball in the net in the first half, but it was ruled out for offside?
That would be Odegaard putting the ball in the net with Havertz being offside. I hadn't mentioned that. Thank you for doing that.
I wonder why he did that, because who was offside? There we go. Anyway, enough about Kai Havertz, please.
You said it, not me. Not me. Yes, we're all good, mate. We're all good. Thank you. So Baisley gets a second yellow card for a block on the halfway line. Any arguments for the red card, or should the referee been a bit lenient or not?
I say it's a red card. The time wasting. I think I saw it earlier in another stream I was watching, and people are talking about the refs and it's having an impact in games. So, don't time waste.
Very funny, Mr. Arsenal podcast. I see you.
I like him. I'll come in afterwards though, saying why.
I like Kai's too. It is what it is.
I actually not the way he plays, but as a human, I think he's just really funny and nice. Like the thing about how he loves his donkey sanctuary, and he does all these weird facial expressions. It's just a person that I would like. He's just a bit of a weirdo that I would probably get on with. Do you know what I mean? So I like him as a human a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a lovely man. And listen, I'm sure he's a great guy. I want him to do well, but it's not looking likely at the moment.
I disagree. The stats don't back it up.
I just think there are better players we could have got
carry on,
much cheaper.
But that, if you want to have that discussion, I agree with you. There's better players for sure, but he hasn't done anything, I think, to hurt us. I mean,
but
only 3 games, guys. We have 3 games. We have 3 data points to look at, and if we're looking at 2 years from now and we have the same output, epic failure. But right now,
well, I guess we're so impatient now, with bedding in new players and stuff. I just think I have a bit less patience because this system wasn't played in pre-season. So if it's still, we could be 3 or 4 more games more bedded in, in this particular system. But he did get lots of minutes in pre-season. So anyway, we'll just give him time. We'll give him time. Sorry, I'll shut up.
No, you make an excellent point, Fran. And do you know why this system as played is like it is? Hasn't been played. Do you know why? It's because Timber got injured in the game against Forest.
Oh,
that's the big one. That's the big one. I think that's the one that's going to come back and haunt us a little bit.
It's heartbreaking. It really is, because the kid played brilliant.
Yeah, he's a good person. He's got a lot of good viewpoints as far as how he handles himself and everything. And to see that happen, I think that's the unfortunate thing, because I think you got to think about the swings also, the different right back and fullback partnership, not having the person that you're comfortable with to know where they're going to run and where they're going to pass the ball. So now Saka and Martinelli don't know the person behind them where they're going to be in space. So now there's just this disconnect. And I think, Timber would have made that so much better, but we'll get him back next year and he'll be like a new signing.
Do you know what? He came in and he made such an impact for a player that I'll be honest with you. I'm not as up with my European football as I may, would like to be. I can only watch so much as someone in a full-time job managing this channel and being a daddy and for my little girl as well, right? But for the short time I've seen it, I've been so impressed with Timber and the work that he's done, adapting into a position which apparently isn't his natural position, but for certainly me and Bertie, who did the Community Shield, was the best player on the park.
Player on the pitch.
Absolutely fantastic.
Easily.
And you know what? let's just hope he has a full and as easy as recovery as the guy can get. ACLs are horrible injuries. I will actually link in to a channel that I watch and subscribe. She's a Man United fan, but Sophia, who's in one of the WhatsApp groups that I know. I think Fran knows who I'm talking about. Yeah, I thought you would. So she put an excellent little video about ACLs in the game, ACL injuries in the game, and the impact that will sort of have in, in people's careers, etc. I'll link that into our community tab later on today, if I can. All right. So, so before I get into anything else, so Arteta did make a tactical switch on 84 minutes. So we're at 2-1 at that
Quite
stage.
early for him.
Sorry,
Quite early for him.
Yes, it is early.
There
we go.
So Jorginho come on for Odegaard, potentially in a bit of a more defensive kind of move. I would safely say that I don't think that exactly worked out as he would have expected, because we're in injury time now, and there's a bit of a play before this, and I should have written down the corner taker, but I'll get to it.
Yep.
Zinchenko in that left back position actually made a sort of poor kind of defensive decision, and Fulham managed to get the ball into the corner, which they actually, or Paulinho, absolutely unchallenged from the corner, put the ball in the net to make it 2-2. Guys, I'd like your take on what happened here, because I don't think it was very clever from us at all.
It's 100% unacceptable to give up a goal on a corner kick when you have a man advantage. So we talk about different types of defending on corners. There's zone defending, and then there's man-to-man marking. When you're down, when you have an extra man, you need to go man-to-man marking in there. And Saka and Rice just kind of let Paulinho run right in front of him, and then he just has a free range header to boom, and there's nothing like Ramsdale can really do. It's just unacceptable to blow a lead when the other team has 10 men. This is the one I think that infuriated me the most. I was working yesterday, so I was kind of like, people were talking to me as I was trying to watch it. But this one had me about hot for about an hour, because it's unacceptable to give up on a corner kick like that with the man advantage. So I don't know. Frustrating.
Move it across, Fran.
Again, I was busy a little bit during the second half. I had some other things to attend to, so I need to rewatch it to exactly see what happened. But if it's what you said, it just sounds like complacency, like not concentrating, which is odd, because that's exactly what happened right at the beginning of the game. So what is this like switching off pattern in our defense? And it's the same like sloppy errors that caused us to lose the lead of the league last season. We just need to switch on. It's completely unacceptable. Just losing concentration for a moment and it's too late. The ball's in the back of the net. I expect better from Rice, to be fair. 100 mil and all, and West Ham's best player. It's not good enough, and at least these kind of errors are happening now, to be fair, if there is a positive spin, because they better not happen again. I better not see us losing leads like that in the closing stages of the game. Down 10 men, it's not good enough, and I think Arteta will be pretty angry with them.
And that's the thing too. Like, this was probably my most frustration. The whole Kai thing we discussed earlier. This was more irritating to me than Kai. But to be fair on this too, I have to blame Ramsdale to an extent as a former keeper, because you have to tell your defenders who to man mark and how to set it up and everything. And so I understand. Like, I'm not completely blaming Ramsdale. It's a collective failure of the whole team. But you have to notice who's free running. You have to make sure someone's covering your near post, someone's covering your back post, potentially, depending on who's making the back run. there's a lot of factors that play into this, and I'm sure they'll fix it up and they'll look at the game film today and come with a solution. I'm missing the inside. Oh, it's a dog. Sorry, I thought it was an inside joke. But
I'm loving the pet off going on there on the right hand side of the screen. It's so funny.
I should probably get over the corner then and start looking at the dog and make me happier. But it's just so infuriating because it's
yeah.
I'm sure they'll look at it and they'll have.
Oh my God, Hetty, stop running in!
Good God Almighty!
She jumped on my laptop. She nearly made me end the
Sorry,
end the
it's meant to
stream.
carry on. Our animals are just like too distracting at this.
It's like
Yeah.
Funny Farm going up in here, right? But this is
Oh
good,
my
family
God.
friendly pets. Hey, we're good.
Do you know what? It's everything that anyone wants. It's a family-friendly stream. It's got pets on it, and we've got us talking like adults as well, by the way, which is quite cool, actually. I've got to say, I'm enjoying the stream, guys. You're doing a great job. Just to tie up a few loose ends before we go into any other points. Fulham could have actually won the game. Traore, I didn't even realise he'd actually signed from them. The pacey guy, the wide player from Wolves.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was there, frankly. But there you are.
The big
It was-
shiny.
Yeah, no kidding. He could have won it, but didn't. Vieira for us on our side had a really good shot, which was saved by Leno, of course, the former Arsenal goalkeeper. Be wrong with me not to mention Leno because he had a pretty good game in goal as well. But it all ended up 2-2. I will say this. Thank God we didn't lose the game because there would have been more meltdown now than there would have been had we had not. But
Yeah.
and we are only 3 games into the season for us. We've got 7 points on the board. Yes, it probably should have been more. Yes, of course, it should have been 9. But we aren't going to go in the season. We're not sort of playing silly games on computers. Anything can happen in Premier League. Let's not start giving Premier League titles to Manchester City because. And
They
we'll
almost
get
dropped today.
Yeah.
I'll get to that in just a second. Anything can happen in the Premier League. So Arsenal since 1987 says we were lucky to beat Forest and Palace. Well, I think
I don't know how.
Manchester City were lucky to beat Sheffield United 2-1 today.
I mean, we can play this lucky with whatever. We can do this with everything. I can destroy every single scoreline with the ball hitting the post. I mean, other than the first shot that Forest scored on, what other time were they threatening to Arsenal? There was it. There was that one counterattack. Palace had one good chance in the game. We hit the post twice.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. I get it. We can play this game, but we got what we got right now. And think about how many shots that hit. We should tell the guys to not hit Leno. They have to hit the goal. We shot everything directly.
If only they listened to Posh Bertie back in the day. Don't aim for Leno.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think the frustrating thing, though, it's not that we drew. We're doing it to ourselves again. So it's silly errors rather than the other team earning so much. I think that's why I'm so annoyed about it. If it was a really hard fought game, both teams at each other, but instead we give away these silly goals, and that's
all
why
Fulham got yesterday was silly. Was errors.
The 2 errors that we made were punished, as happens in the Premier League, and I'm pretty sure people around us will make similar mistakes. I'm not going to go too heavy on the team and the particular players because that's not really my style. But people are going to have opinions about what they want to do or whether this is acceptable or not. I don't know the right answers. What I do know is we have an opportunity to strike back on Sunday against Manchester United. Guys, if we haven't talked about this, if you want to jump in on the live broadcast on Sunday, you are all more than welcome to. Well, so I think me and Posh Bertie will most
Yeah.
certainly be on the
Yeah.
on the live from 4:15 on Sunday. So we'll talk about all that off air. So let's get into other business.
Can I just say something about the result? Unfortunately, I think everything. Can I get back on the?
Oh, okay. So I thought you were having a big moment. Go on.
No, I'm not having it. Well, oh,
There he is.
can I?
I'm on it, mate. Don't worry.
Yeah. There we go. Everything about that result, unfortunately, was all down to Arteta for getting the system wrong. Partey at right back, Kivior at left back, Gabriel dropped. Those were his decisions. And as I mentioned before, we had a perfectly good setup last season, and for whatever reason, he's tinkering with it. And I'll be honest, our first 3 games, Forest, Palace, and Fulham, that's, I think, a very easy start you can think of. Yeah, home to Forest and home to Fulham. If we're a title contending team, we should be beating those teams, and we did. Forest and Palace. I actually thought most of the time against Forest we were very good, but when we conceded that goal, we ended up defending for our very life. Yeah. Palace was just one of the most ugliest wins I've seen. It wasn't exactly a pleasing watch, but we got it in the end. But and Fulham, we've talked about this already. It's just not to say it wasn't the best of games was a huge understatement. If we're struggling, if we're eking out results against those teams, we've got teams like Man City to play. We've got Man United to play. Yes, I know that Man United aren't exactly a lethal team at the moment, but they've still got players that can change the game, as they did against Nottingham Forest. Even Tottenham, I mentioned this before. Look how well they're doing at the moment. Yes, they've got the same amount of points as us, but compared their performances to our performances, and if we continue to play like we're doing now against those teams and in the Champions League, it is going to be one hell of a watch. And I don't mean that in a good way. So, yeah. And if Arteta continues to get wrong decisions like this and play and make these tactical decisions, then yeah, I'm gonna probably end up returning to how I felt about him in 2021 when I wanted a change. So yeah, bit of a warning there.
It's got to come good. All this messing with the formation and stuff. Let's just hope it is like what City do when they have a slow start to the season and he rotates heavily in the early stage of the season so that our run-in can be super strong. So I'm really hoping it's going to be like that. But at the moment, it's a bit too touch and go. And as you say, against the bigger teams in the Champions League, we can't be having this kind of insecurity.
Partey at right back against Real Madrid.
Oh boy, he's so good at central midfield. That's the problem. And it just seems.
Well, then the solution is simple. You run 3 at the back, 4 in the midfield with two pivots. You got Rice and Partey. Sorry, and you could play Odegaard, Havertz.
Gracie May's here. I've just popped at that. I just saw a name come up. Hello, Gracie. Welcome in. So yeah.
But 3 at the back is probably the answer. But put 3 central defenders back there. That's my only.
To be honest.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
That is kind of how it looked like we were setting up right from that kickoff moment where Saka gave the ball away for the opening goal, because Ben White was on the right hand side.
Yep.
We did have the other 2 guys, so Saliba and Kivior, kind of in a 3 centre-half position, and so when we say Partey is at right back, it's almost like a loosely described right back. It isn't necessarily right back. It's more of a is pretty much free, and yeah, for me, as as a 40-something-year-old person, I find this very, very difficult to understand. But it's just the way we happen to be playing. I don't agree with it, but it is the way of the game. You see other teams doing it, like City, like Liverpool, and unfortunately, that's just how it is. I need to catch up on everything on the chat here, so so Gracie May's jumped in. Let's go to Arsenal Manic. 100% agree with you, Posh Bertie. Why not if this party at right back? All these qualities attributes to the heart of midfield. Well, actually, I think you'll probably find that's where he spent most of the game on Saturday.
The heat maps tell you that. He plays a lot of I think the one that he had the most central was against Forest. Palace, he played a lot of right back, as far as you would look for a traditional right back with a little bit of cold where the midfield was. And then on top of that, on Saturday, it's a little bit, it's a bit mixture. But again, I would have White, Gabriel, and Saliba as my back three, and then Partey, Rice, and a mixture of if you don't like Havertz, he's going to still be in the rotation. Havertz, Odegaard, you could put Smith Rowe in there. Whoever, we've got options. I mean, this is the best thing about it. Like, this is the best thing about this. Like, we're not looking at this is the 11 we got. We have a bench that's deep. We can change the game up. Trossard to super sub. The result on Saturday is disappointing, but at least we have answers to some of the questions we have.
And I heard Posh Bertie's response there to Smith Rowe. Yeah, and I know what you're thinking, Posh, because I know full well that Emil Smith Rowe has not played a single minute of our official season so far. I'm pretty sure he will come in at some stage. I really hope so, because the kid's got a lot of talent. Right. Let's go into the Arsenal since 1987. I hate Spurs. Thank you. And
all agreed.
I don't know how to say his name.
Postecoglou.
Bless you. Has been at Tottenham 4 months and he knows his strongest team. Arteta has been here 4 years and he doesn't know his strongest 11. I find that crazy. I think it's an evolution of a side, actually.
He did know his strongest 11 last season, but he's not using it.
Yes.
It's feeling a bit like 2021 Arsenal when he kept on experimenting. And I don't want to go back to that time.
Does Arteta have his strongest 11, or does he not have the fans' idea of the strongest 11?
There you are.
That's my opinion.
To be honest, the days of having...
But this is where the Zinchenko Timber injury plays in. That's, I think, the only reason we're seeing Partey at right back. I don't think he would have been I don't think I guarantee if Zinchenko and Timber were healthy, Partey would not be playing at right back. I just would 100%. I will argue that till the cows come home.
So that's an excellent point. Go ahead, Fran.
Who would be missing out then? Because I assume then I know it's all hypotheticals, but then you'd have Partey, Rice, and Havertz in midfield, and then have to drop Odegaard or someone.
Honestly,
yeah.
I think the best midfield is Odegaard, Partey, and Rice. I like Havertz. I think he adds something, but I would start those three over Havertz. I'll defend Havertz, but the Rice, Odegaard, and Partey would be an excellent midfield.
It would be.
So, and with that point, I would have thought he'd be bringing Havertz in gradually because he's a new addition to the side.
Yeah,
and trying to get him integrated in the side. Maybe that's where he would have started. That's possibly where he would have preferred him to be at this stage. Perhaps Havertz has been thrown in where Arteta might not necessarily have expected to use him at this stage. Bertie's, I'm sure, waiting to jump in now.
I mean, the only reason why Havertz is getting all these minutes in is his price tag, his undeserving price tag.
It's got nothing to do with it.
I don't think so either.
I think we overpaid big time for him.
But who's telling Arteta to play him then?
Exactly. It's the manager's decision, which is on his head, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to go on to this comment here. Tierney and Martinelli used to link up on the left, push complete unproven amateur Kivior given his place. Should Tierney leave, I would have left by now. He has left. He's gone to Real Sociedad. And honestly, that is going to cost us because...
2 seconds.
Oh.
Because you're absolutely right. it has been confirmed. Kieran Tierney has gone to Sociedad on loan. I don't think there's an option to buy, but yeah, Kieran is gone, so he's no longer an option with us.
One of the best left backs in the Premier League, and in my opinion, and if you think he's going to play for us next season, you're wrong, because I can't see it. Much like Balogun, Arteta will force him out, and it's not right. We had he was very good for us when he played during the dark times when we were losing to teams like Burnley and Wolves and teams like that. He was actually one of the only shining lights on the pitch.
I'm sorry.
And it's just absolutely a shame that because Arteta insists on playing inverted, that is what annoys me about him a lot, because he insists on playing this style of football Tierney doesn't fit. And it's just, it's annoying. But anyway, no, he's not moved permanently, Arsenal Manic. He's on loan. Posh Bertie in all capital letters. What would you rate the window stands if we fail to make? Well, Timber was great, but he's injured. Rice, I think he will come good. I think he was actually one of the best players on the pitch against Crystal Palace.
Agreed.
David Raya, I think, would be, if he's going to play in goal, I think he'll be quite a good goalkeeper. I'd probably give it a 5, maybe 6 if you include Timber, but I know he's going to be injured a lot. But yeah, 5 or a 6, I think. Yeah.
Arsenal since 1987 saying, hoping Kieran Tierney smashes it in Spain. I'm sure he will. Best wishes to him. I hope he does well, because I really rate the guy. And let me just do that one. Liverpool fan here. I don't like Partey at right back. And also start Fabio Vieira more. It's exactly what my brother is calling for. Whether it be in Havertz's spot, perhaps. Yeah, maybe. Gabriel to start as well. Congratulations, Gracie. Now, what did I miss with Gracie May?
Yeah. New job is what
New
I've
job.
heard.
Oh, bless her. Fantastic. I'm so pleased for her.
Yeah, I do. I need to catch up though. I think Gracie was just on Jez's stream, so we'll all need to go watch that.
Definitely. And Jez's stream, of course, is Arsenal, the History and More, which you all absolutely, if you haven't already, must go and subscribe to as soon as we've finished up. All right? So we've brought up the Kieran Tierney situation. I think we are more or less in a place where we are just about done for today. Before I say anything else, I probably want to say to you guys off stream. So unless you've got anything else to add, anybody?
Go ahead, Posh.
No, I was just going. Trying to think. So
yeah, so I got something then.
What?
I'm just gonna...
Gracie May? What?
It's to do with the job stuff, I believe. It's unfortunate.
I will say this to her. Look, the door is open here at Gooner Gathering if Gracie May wants to join us at any stage. As a guest, I'd love to have you, because you're a very talented young lady. And it's really sad if you are retiring, but doors open, all right? Potentially that might be the case, Arsenal Manic.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, we've got lots of comments going on. Even Spencer's in the chat saying, why are we dropping Ramsdale?
I've seen this trending. People talking about replacing Ramsdale with Raya.
Wow.
I mean, it's going to happen, but I don't see what Ramsdale's done yet to be dropped. I just...
Look at the first goal.
But that's on Saka.
Yes.
Saka,
but look at Ramsdale flip-flopping all over the place, though.
But that's the way we start. But if you go back and look, I sent a picture to the group. You've got a Fulham player here, another Fulham player here, and an Arsenal player in the middle. So he's prepared for that ball to be potentially, it's like Fran said earlier. He's basically defending a 2-on-1, if you look at it.
Well, she actually is.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's my so it's a
Gracie
position.
May,
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
but I will
Gracie
say,
May, sorry,
Go ahead.
just really quick. Sorry, Spencer, I'll jump in straight to you. Best of luck going into the Harmony. Stay safe, and we love you very much. Take care, all right? Spencer, go ahead.
I'm going to the Army. All right, good stuff. Congratulations.
Our country will be a safer place with Gracie
Please.
May in the ranks.
Come
As-
on. She'll kick
As someone
everybody's
that's
butt.
done 18 years in the U.S. military, congratulations, and you know, stay safe, please. Absolutely, please stay safe. But yeah, I just brace for it, guys. We're not going undefeated this year. We're not going to break the invincible record, so we will unfortunately drop a game to someone we shouldn't. But I do want to say that it's going to be, it's going to be a long, interesting year. And the window is getting ready. We had one more week in the window. Hopefully, we'll bring someone in. And
Ivan Tony, please.
Oh, so
That's
Fran,
a
you might
banned
not be
word.
up to speed.
Even though I
That's a
agree
banned
with you,
word on
Fran.
this channel.
Oh, is it?
But
I'll explain why. Don't worry.
I wholeheartedly agree with you, though. Absolutely.
It's never going to happen because he's too much of a character.
Ollie Watkins, I would quite like as well, but
Yes,
yeah,
100% yes. We agree on that one.
Solanke.
yeah.
I'll take Solanke from Bournemouth.
I like his name. It's just funny.
Oh, his name's fantastic, but as a player, really?
You can't get wrong. I
I'm
don't think you
shocked
could
at
go.
this one.
I don't think you could go wrong with either of the three of them. But Solanke would be an option.
Oh,
Can I
True
just
Gooner.
welcome in Josh as well to the chat, who's just joined in. True Gooner is in. Hello, mate.
Everyone subscribe to his
And
channel.
Gracie, mate, totally understand what you're saying there, mate. So no worries at all. But again, you know, doors always open if you have a bit of spare time. All right. Guys, I think I've, you know, we've been on here for a little while now. I think it's probably now is probably a decent time to say our goodbyes. I do want to talk to you all off air if we can, but before we disappear, let's if you don't mind me going full screen on yours, I'll go to Fran first, then to Spencer. We'll talk about your other channels and stuff, and then we'll get out of here. So Fran, it's all yours. Tell everybody where they can find you and your channel, all that sort of stuff.
Yes, so I'm back and we're going even bigger this season. Thank you so much, guys, for having me on, by the way. After this stream, I'm going to go carry on doing this like mystery painting I'm doing of one of our players. So yeah, more art. We're going to do some more panel shows, following every step of the game, going on Gooner Gathering, different channels. My channel is Golazzo. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Thank you so much for having me on, Lee and the guys. I'd love to talk more with you all season after each game. Okay. Fran out.
It's an absolute joy and a pleasure to have you. So thank you for joining us. Spencer, the stage is yours, my friend.
All right, I'm Spencer. I run Bronco and VA 9986. Got some NFL stuff I'm going to be doing this week. I cover American sports, and then, of course, I cover the Arsenal. And I help out here on Gooner Gathering from time to time. And you can catch me on Instagram at Arsenal9986 and X or Twitter at Arsenal9986. Thank
you very much indeed. Let me just exit that.
So can I just really jump in? Sorry, Spencer, you're so good at this. Like the way you talk and like your sports knowledge is so incredible to listen to. And yeah, just keep doing it. Like you're so good. So yeah,
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I enjoy talking with people that have different opinions. I love the discussion, especially if it's constructive, and I think we absolutely 100% do it here.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what I'm so pleased about my team here as well. Bertie, I think you might
Christmas lights up.
It's my wife's
Christmas lights up early. Yeah, I see. Do you know what? This is the thing that I'm so proud about of our channel here, guys, is that we might not all agree about everything that goes on with the club. We all have an undoubted love for the club and wanting them to do well. Having different opinions is so cool. and the fact that we don't talk over each other, we don't hit up the 4-letter beat words. It's so important to me because, of course, as you all know, Amy is my little girl is very often in the other room with me when we do, especially the live matches, which is so hard to do, as Bertie will absolutely concur with me. But that's what we're all about. If everyone is enjoying what we're doing, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Posh Bertie, we haven't done your socials, so that you go ahead and do yours.
You can follow me on Twitter at Posh Bertie, and my Instagram is at Bertie Wanless. And you can also find me on this very channel.
Absolutely, my right-hand man, if you will. So, guys, you can find me at Goonerly Meads. You can find us all at Gooner Gathering on X. And until we resurface, guys, you look after yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you soon.